Your favorite fat boys.
Man, what it's like, bitch.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite fat boy, Jarron.
Stefan, a.k.a. Mayhem, a.k.a. the world's greatest friend, a.k.a. your new worst nemesis.
Your new worst nemesis. Wait, how you go for your world's best friend? Who pissed you off?
The world did. That's how it starts. We start out as great friends, and then I turn into your greatest nemesis.
I know that's right. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite fat boys podcast. We on episode what now?
55.
55.
We keep it pushing.
Keep it pushing. So, I got approved to be on the list.
Yay!
That's the best response we can get out of Stefan.
Pretty much. You know my level of excitement is always low.
When I told him that I got approved to be on the list, same energy, which I'm fine with because I've known him for years. So I definitely expected it. Could I have used a little more excitement in the voice? Maybe.
I asked you, did you need me to do a cheer for you?
Nah, it was okay. It was okay. But let me just recap how that whole day went when I found out I was approved. So it was on Wednesday, so about 2 Wednesdays ago now. And I was going to dialysis. It was pretty warm that day. And then something had caught on fire in the dialysis center. I think it was the AC unit. The AC unit had caught fire. Or it was starting to smoke.
Is that relative to the story?
Well, I'm leading up to it.
Oh, okay.
My story, damn it. So they had the fire department there, so we could. So I got my chair time is at 10 o'clock. So I got there like 10:10, and they had everybody outside the building and everything. So I couldn't start right then and there. So we waiting outside pretty much like 20 to 30 minutes, whatever. So I go to the gas station. We couldn't go inside. We outside and it's starting to get hot. So I'm like, well, let me just go to the gas station and get some gas and come back. By the time I came back, we was able to go inside the building. So get hooked up, days goes on, my day goes on as regular. I get a call from University of Maryland. They tell me, hey, we want to let you know that you've been approved to be on the list. And I got quiet because I didn't really know what to say. And coordinator was like, are you still there? You okay? I said, yeah, I just know what to say. Like, I'm overwhelmed. And I just get emotional because it's been such a long time, and I think I would get on the list, but it was just a matter of when.
Right.
Because it was so many different obstacles and hurdles to get through. And they told me the next step pretty much was that before I get placed on the list, they got to go to my insurance to get the okay, because they're going to okay the approval of the actual surgery of the heart and kidney. So once I get that, I'll be officially placed on the list, but the committee did approve me, which is one of the biggest steps, to getting the surgery and everything. Because somebody got to say yes, somebody going to say no. So that's where we're at right now. And, I called my mom, dad, obviously. What's funny is that I talked to my mother 3 times that morning. And then the moment I call her back, she don't answer the phone. But I called my dad, I called my 2 brothers. I called Tiffany, I called you, but then because by you being out in bumblefuck Detroit, Michigan, you didn't get it, so I text you to call me whenever you got free. I called my ex-girlfriend, I called my friend Mike, my other friend James from high school, and Dominique, Jasmine, Sharina, and shout out my boy Rico. And that's our husband. And I told my cousin, and I think that was about it.
He told a lot of people is what he's getting.
Yeah, besides my immediate family, like I have like 9 friends that I'm close to, so I called them and I appreciate, we shared the moment. So I cried with a few people. By the time I got Stefan, I was all dried up.
Oh, good, because I wasn't gonna cry with him.
So yeah, I was all dried up at that point. So it was a very emotional moment, happy moment, of course, and I'm just glad to be on the list now. Well, be approved to be on the list, and I can get the surgery eventually. I probably got to wait about a year or more, which I'm fine with waiting. How they pitched it to me was, if I got sick and was going in and out the hospital, depending on how sickly I got, how severe it was, they would want to keep me in the hospital until they got the transplants. you know, I had like a different device maybe put that to me because of my heart and everything. So it's become more complicated to do everyday things.
Right.
Or, just to be able to function pretty much. So I'm lucky and I'm fortunate enough to, to not having something else hooked up to me and be relying on it. And that I feel a lot better since they took off that fluid when I had my last hospital stay. So as long as I can stay stable and out the hospital, I don't mind waiting. As the being sick, getting sick, and then staying in the hospital, that's what annoys me about the whole process. So I don't like being in the hospital for so long.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot of talks, a lot of laughs, and when I got to you, it was just like, okay, what's good? What you want from me?
Hey, I like to keep it grounded and realistic.
Cause I told you we was gonna hug. We might hug. You said you had to think about it.
Because I didn't see a reason.
And I told him, I said, well, we hug and grab your butt. And then he tells me,
oh, what did I say?
oh, you said, get ready for what's gonna happen next.
Oh yeah. I said, yeah. He's like, as long as you be gentle. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, no, not at all.
So that's the friendship we have, over 20 plus years. This is how he treat me. But he treats me good though.
I'm about to say, you need to preface it when I treat you good, then go into the bullshit.
So how'd you take the? Well, you told me how you took it, but like, was there anything else like kind of like, I guess, lingering in your mind about me telling you I got approved to be on the list?
I mean, not really. It's a thing that happened. It's another event that happened within your life that is in some way adjacent to mine. Again, I'm a realist. I keep everything pretty grounded. Yeah,
you do. You keep it, realistic too. So, well, grounded realism. So, you gonna tell me what it is and what it ain't. What to expect, and that's what it helps me understand a lot of what's going on, and keep it funny, because that's how I deal with a lot of things, is kind of put it in a funny spin.
Right. I mean, and knowing people who have been on the transplant list, and you with your rare blood type, your wait will probably be longer than some others.
Yeah, so I already knew that going into it, and that's it. I don't mind waiting, because I know that people that need it far more than I do, so they're gonna be placed high on the list. So I know that my age helps me get in a good spot per se in the list from what they described it. Because it's just like, there's other people out there who do need it more than me, obviously. So, and then you got people that don't actually get on the list at all because of prior illnesses, or what behavior they have. They're like a constant smoker, constant drinker, or they were like a drug addict. Then that will prevent them from getting on the list.
Yeah,
so.
There are so many things that bar you from being on the transplant list because they don't want to get good working organs to somebody who's just going to abuse them.
Yeah, that's what they pretty much told me last time I was in the hospital. Like, it would come back on the committee of Maryland if they would when they give me the organs, and then I just say, well, I'm going to just start doing drugs now. I'm not going to take my medicine. I'm not going to, take care of myself anymore. And then those organs start to go bad. It looks bad on them, because it's like, what were y'all thinking? Like, why y'all?
New lease on life. Fuck this life.
I'm not going to say fuck it, because I want to live. I want to enjoy life. I want to go places and, have different experiences. That's how I look at it. I want to continue. Because they asked me, like, what are my plans for as, when I get the transplants. I said, well, I want to travel to, like, Greece or Rome. I like to go on a safari to Africa. Big animal lover, so. And I told them, eventually I want to move out my parents' house, get my own place, and give me a Rottweiler and a Cane Corso, because that's what I like dogs.
Such lofty dreams.
So, and then they were like, "Oh, you like what? Like, why the dogs?" I said, I like Rottweilers. I like the Cane Corso. It just looks so strong. Because I said I would name the Rottweiler Poncho, and then the Cane Corso I'll name him Batman, because how his ears point up. So, but those just just some thoughts, and I'm gonna get one of those dogs one way. I won't say one way or another, but I plan on getting a dog. So, and as right now, continue to do the podcast, take it easy, go out a little more, since I guess COVID is still a thing, but don't nobody care no more. Yeah, I'm very mindful of that. See what happens where we go. As long as they ain't in the hospital. Yeah, so I think didn't I shout out everybody last time? Well, people last time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I missed you, I'm sorry. Like I said, Rico, you my boy. I appreciate it. Mike, appreciate you. Tiffany, my ex-girlfriend Shamita, she been there. So we'll leave it at that. That's a whole other topic for another day. So speaking of friendships, we gonna touch back on our first episode talking about our friendship and how we handle friendships and everything. So I guess outside of me being your best friend, who else is a good friend to you?
I have 3 best friends. You, Lorenzo, Anthony. Even though Anthony I haven't really talked to in a long time, but for me, with the way my mind works, my friendship surpasses both time and space. So if we were still great friends, the last time I talked to you, it could be 10 years down the line when the next time I talk to you, we're still great friends in my mind.
No, I respect that. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like Anthony is somebody. Well, I guess we both grew up with him pretty much. So Anthony, if you're listening, I'm gonna tag you. You gotta get on here so we can do something on the podcast. We haven't hung out in a while, so we need to make that happen.
Right. And so you, Anthony, and Lorenzo, those are my best friends. And I have other people who I associate with who are friends with, who I am, I guess, friends with, but not that close.
I'm probably the one that bothers you the most.
Yeah, you definitely are. You definitely are.
I think outside of you, I think Tiffany is someone I've known, I think just as long. Yeah, just about long. Maybe by a year. I've known her maybe a year more than you. So it'd be Tiffany, and then James I've known since like 10th grade. So we're talking like 20 years plus. So, and that you and Tiffany are very different, but y'all both are just equally as important. Mm-hmm. So it was like, if I can't reach one, I'll reach out to the other. So that's your fault for being available all the time.
Is that what that is? I gotta stop answering my phone.
I think the best example I have, like, I guess a friendship in a sense, like when I was working at PayPal, I was cool with a lot of people. Right. And when I got sick, out of the people I was cool with, Serena was the only one I've kept in contact with. Right. And I told her like, oh, I'm in the hospital, this is going on, or different things have happened, and she's been there, they just listen to ear. And I hung out with her. I've hung out with her a few times, her and her boyfriend then, Rico, and then they got married. But these all around just good people. So, and
yeah, I mean, it takes me a while to form friendships and relationships. Again, I have a pervasive psychological personality disorder. So yeah, it takes a lot of effort for me to form relationships and friendships. So the people who I am close with have, in my mind, taken that time and that effort for me to put into, and they put that effort back into me for that relationship to form. So the ones that I have, I'm good enough with them.
So no new applications being put in with friends for you at this point?
I don't necessarily need them. If it happens, it happens. It just hasn't happened yet.
So do you evaluate a friendship the same way you would evaluate a potential girlfriend?
Essentially, for me, they're all the same.
Okay.
I posited this question to a woman that I used to work with. I said, what's the difference between the love that you have for your spouse versus the love that you have for your best friend? She wanted there to be a difference. I said, but what is it? The same thing that you would do for your spouse is the exact same thing that you would do for your best friend. So what's different? Essentially, there is no difference.
Yeah, I don't think there's no difference in how you love someone, because whatever you're willing to do for that person, you will be probably willing to do for the same.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference between the love that you have for your spouse and your best friend is you're probably not fucking your best friend. You might be fucking your spouse.
A little weird.
So again, I do the friendships that I establish is the same way that I would be looking at it if I were going into an intimate relationship.
Do I do that? Probably to yes and a no. Yeah, probably like a yes and no, because I think I'm gonna take the time to get to know somebody, of course, see if I'm like, compatible with that person. I guess depending on like what our interests are and things like that. Then it lets me know, okay, this is gonna be a friend. This is gonna be somebody I'm gonna try to be romantic with in a sense. So, female wise. But yeah. So what about you do have a bad friendship story you can talk about?
Oh, I got a couple of them.
Let's get into it.
I'll get into the major one, which is the person who I refer to as my former best friend. We know who this guy is.
Right.
And went through that same process of talking about evaluating the friendship as if it was some kind of relationship, and said, okay, yeah, this guy has that potential to be a best friend. So he became the fourth best friend.
Right.
But as time went on, the personality that he displayed to other people started to fall off onto me. I said, yeah, no, I really can't have this in my life. But again, I'm not a person who abandons people. Mm-hmm. You abandon a relationship, and I just said, yeah, you know what, you're right. You said, you fall off, and I'll fall back just as hard. And if you try to reestablish a connection, I'll probably be averse to it. Because that individual became a bad friend who started costing me money. So that's when you get to the point when you start costing me money, and then you have absolutely no desire to pay it back because we're friends, yeah, I definitely got a problem.
Yeah, I think that's a slap in the face because you're taking that person's kindness for weakness, and I don't think I was ever taught in a sense like you borrow money, it should be you borrow money, pay it back, but not to let it slide just because that person's your friend. It's one thing if you loan me money and then I go to pay and you say, nah, don't worry about it, depending on the amount, of course, but let that be your discretion, let that be your choice. Instead of me like not paying you back at all. Right, and this friend actually made me establish my rule that I was no longer bailing people out of jail. I didn't even know it was even a rule. It wasn't at first. I didn't know it was a rule either. Until this individual made me establish that it's now a rule that I am not bailing motherfuckers out of jail. Right, I know one time I borrowed some money from you. I paid you back, and I was like, can I get an increase on the loan? You like, nope. Because this person, that friend, because he borrowed so much, it's like I can take a loss at this amount. Yep, I figured out a cap for the amount of money I'm willing to lose. Like the NBA, it's like that's it. I'm only gonna take this as a hit. Yeah, I figured out a cap for the amount of money that I'm willing to lose. See, even if you're a person who pays money back, I still got a cap. Right, because I paid it back, and he was like, no, and I'm like, I thought about it because I didn't get mad about it, but I just thought about it, I was like. It's a good way to keep you have to have boundaries in I think any relationship. Oh yeah. So it even though you know me as long as you have, that still is a boundary you set, not just for other people, but as also I fall on that boundary too. Yeah. Which I respect it, not because I don't have a choice in the matter, but because the fact that you set a boundary with me as long as you know me. I think with me I kind of like might give someone I know longer a little bit more of a I guess leeway in a sense versus somebody I haven't known at all. Over the same amount of time. But the way you put it at that time was like, it makes perfect sense. And I can't argue with something that makes, actually good sense. Yeah, so they got to find that cap on the amount that I am willing to lose. That if I don't get paid back, I won't show up at your house and beat your ass. So that's the cap. There's the line. Right. And I think, too, in our friendship, we haven't had like a falling out. Not to say that that's necessary in a friendship, but I think it goes along with I think the understanding of each other. Right. Like if I don't talk to you for 2 weeks, we're not mad at each other, nothing like that. Yeah. It's like just nothing's happened. Right. And then we do talk on the phone. It's like we on that phone for at least about an hour or more. Yeah. So catching up, and we know when a movie coming out, I'm calling you. Hey, let's go see it. Or vice versa. You like, I'm on the side of town. What you doing? Well, you'll text me. Don't go see the movie without me. I do that an awful lot because I'm usually I'm in Dallas on Friday, and I know after you get off work at 3:00. Yeah. At 3:00 he'll get off work and he'll go straight to the movie theater maybe, or he'll wait till Saturday to go see the early show. So I need to put my bid in so he don't go see it without me. Right. Yeah. Because I notoriously go to movies by myself. Right. So I thought it was bad. I think a bad friendship for me. I think the same friend we had, because he was trying. Well, not say try, but we were a trio at one point. Yeah, I mean, because the way I do friendships, I don't do separate circles. Yeah. So if my friend I only have one circle. So every person that I introduce into my life, I introduce to my circle of friends. So the same thing if I have a girlfriend. I mean, I hate separate circles. That's too complicated for me. Nah, I feel you on that. Yeah, so he brought him into the fold, and it was cool. We was a trio, and then I think the more of his personality that he showed, it was like it wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah, it was very toxic. Yeah, he had a very toxic personality. Yeah, and I had to like, all right, bro, I got to cut you off because it was like it was just too much for me. And like if he was around, I'd be cool and everything, but like. Me and him 1-on-1, it was just like, nah, this ain't fit for me. Yeah, I mean, because in the beginning,
he was willing, to break his back for you.
Yeah.
But then it got to a point where he was no longer putting anything into the relationship as much as he was taking out.
Yeah.
And his personality as a whole on the outside was very toxic.
Yeah. So I think that's probably an example of, for me anyway, like that's like was a beginning of a bad friendship.
Well, I'm so glad that I was able to provide you with a bad friendship.
I don't bet. See, the thing about what's funny is though, like I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm a better judge of character, because I had people in my life and it's like you'll be like, why are you still dealing with them? I wish I had one of these traits that you have, that you cut somebody off and like not lose it. You be just done.
Yeah.
But me, it's like if I know my heart is into it. This is most speaking of like relationships, girlfriends. If I love you, it's like I still want to see if things can work out. Say I still want to like maybe hold on to something, and then I have to by that get to a point where like, okay, this ain't gonna work no more. No matter what they show me time and time again, it's like I need to let go and just let them be and let me be over here.
Yeah, for me, no matter how I feel about you, when it's time to let go, I let go.
Right, yeah.
I'm falling off that ledge.
So yeah, that's one thing that one of your traits, I'm like, you cut somebody off, I'm like, damn, I need to cut somebody. I need to cut them off too, like just be done with it. So yeah, but then, and also to you also, okay, you are very good at seeing how things can play out from a mile away.
Yeah.
After like, kind of like hearing a conversation or being around somebody.
Yeah, I'm very observant.
Yeah, because you've been around me enough. I've been talking to a girl and you be like, you make faces and stuff. You do little things, and then after a while, after I got the phone or from being around them, be like, yeah, it ain't gonna work out, bro. And he's called it. So that's as a friend, I don't expect it, but I've grown used to it, and it's like, okay, if he like him or if he sees some potential, that's like, I'll pursue it. But if he don't, then it's like, okay, let me back off.
Yeah, again, maybe it has to be with my background in psychology and psychological assessment, but I've become very observant. So when I start picking up on cues, I hone in on them.
Right. That's a red flag, pretty much. That I think a lot of people know. I know myself especially. I haven't done the best job at pointing those out, and then not as much as exploring it, but like just recognizing it.
Right.
So, how do you look at how we work and what makes that work for so long?
Well, I look at you as more of the emotional component that I don't have. So you compliment my stoic nature. So that's why it works. Because we're not diametrically opposed and we're not diametrically the same. Mm-hmm. And so it's a compliment of the fact that I am more emotionless and more reserved, and you are the more emotional part of that relationship. So it works for me, because that tends to be the case for me. That all of the relationships that I have, be it friendship or girlfriend, they are the far more emotional part than I am.
Okay, they're more so the complete opposite of you. Yeah,
not even so much the opposite, but more of, I guess, more of an extension of what I could be.
Okay, I like that.
So I definitely feed off of, I guess I would call it those things that I am lacking.
Ah, okay. I like that.
Because when it comes to emotions, I don't have many. I used to have a lot of anger, but I don't even have that much anymore.
Right. Because that's how I feel like nowadays. Like I can remember a time when I was helping you move, and we were taking the U-Haul truck back. I think this was off like Kirk Avenue. Yeah, near the Cloverland factory. Yeah. So we were taking the truck back, and the guy was like, "You got to move. You can't park here." And we're like, "Well, we just dropping it off." So we parked there, but we're not like leaving it here. We trying to drop it off. And the guy came outside and started cussing at us, and I laid his ass out. So I think the most of the part is like I'm first to react. You more so kind of like you will react, but I think in a different way.
Yeah, because my reaction can get far more aggressive because I'm not for cursing you out. I'm just for punching you in the face.
So I cuss you out. So he can be more physical. I agree with that perspective how you described us. I would look at it like we are opposite of each other, but we have a lot of things in common.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, and the advice, the perspectives you've given me over the years, has helped me develop into who I am today. Because if I felt as though I was right about something, you'd be like, no, you actually did this wrong, and this is what you did, and you kind of break things down. Because I'm like, well, how? And then you're like, well, this, and then what about this? And then you had make me think about my actions, hold me accountable. Because if I went unchecked all these years, I probably would have a huge ego.
Right. Yeah.
So, and it's like over the years, it's like you made me realize that I had to approach things differently.
Yeah. I mean, one thing about me is that it says, even if I agree with you, I'll never agree with you because somebody has to see it from the other side.
Exactly.
Because if we just all in the circle jerk, all agreeing with each other, then we never see what we're doing wrong.
That's very true. And I don't want nobody agreeing with me just for sake of agreeing with me. Like, tell me I fucked up.
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, so maybe your friend, but I'll tell you if you're fucking up.
Exactly.
And as a friend, I should be, and vice versa. If I'm fucking up, you fucking up.
Yeah, I was thinking about when I was writing this topics down, I was thinking about this to talk about. I remember I was talking to a girl, and I was telling her, when you got to be my best friend now, I gave a warning. You say something slick, he gonna have at you. He gonna say something slick back. If he go off, I'm gonna go off. I said, this ain't what you want. I gave a fair warning a long time ago, ahead of time for meeting you. I think the first time it was cool, but then the second time she said something slicker than you said something slick back to her. And I had to hear the whole ride home. And then one thing stuck in my mind was that I don't understand why you ain't friends with him. He ain't dress like you. I'm like, dress like me? Why you gotta dress like me?
Right.
And if you watch the podcast enough, you can see that I'm the type of person I like sneakers, I like hats, I like t-shirts, and Stefan, he wears his bandana.
And very plain clothes.
Right, black and blue. That's what he wears. That's what he's always worn since I've known him. And he used to call me PC, show of pop culture.
Yeah.
When jerseys were a thing, I was wearing jerseys.
So
sneakers.
All of the latest styles, you were always up on it. There go PC over here.
Right. I never, looked at him different or less than because he didn't wear the same stuff I didn't wear. And I think if anybody looked at him and saw that, I'd be like, well, they not for me because why are you judging somebody based off their clothes? And it's not like Stefan was looking like a bum. He was just simple in his approach to his wardrobe.
Yeah, I'm very practical like that.
Yeah, so I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I know we used to have a running joke. He's like, if you come around me with a pink or yellow shirt, I'm gonna think you're gay.
Yeah.
So and like I'm a type of person I do like wearing colors. So and I'm thinking about every time I would go like look at a pink shirt, I'm like, he's gonna think I'm gay. So
I wouldn't have actually thought he was gay. I would have just called him gay.
Right. So this is a little joke we had between us and everything. But realizing that if I brought them around and they're like, he don't dress like you, man. He ain't this. He don't gotta be fly. He ain't gotta be in the sneakers. He ain't gotta be in what I'm into exactly. But the things that we do have in common is like, okay, I respect it, and we joke, and we have a lot of insight. So that's how I look at how we work and why it's lasted and worked so long.
Right.
I say, oh, this is my best friend. They're like, oh, y'all complete opposite. I mean, we ain't gotta be the same. I don't think best friends have to be exactly the same. To me, that's almost damn near weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need another clone of me to be comfortable with another person.
I can put up with you, just you, of you. I don't think I got enough energy for a second one.
Say, hey, now that would bring us into the next point because getting on our nerves because you've done some shit that's got on our nerves. So bring us to the final topic of today's podcast.
So go ahead. You start off first.
Early in our relationship, even though we were friends, there were some times I wanted to beat your ass. Because again, as I've said, I used to be an angry motherfucker, real angry, and you used to push buttons. It's like you didn't realize, like my family realized, you push my buttons, we gonna fight, I'm gonna fuck you up. But Jarron like, okay, he's a friend, he ain't a family member. I can't just beat his ass without there being consequences. So that has saved you a ton of times.
This is true.
Because you was a perpetual, what you gonna do about it? Motherfucker.
I don't know him. I ain't know him that long. And I was doing that a lot during our high school years.
Yeah.
So
I said, this motherfucker don't realize I beat niggas up.
I gotta say this quick part. What I used to be like that so fucking much. Mm-hmm. I would just like be just picking
antagonizing
niggas. I used to work at Panera Bread, like the staff we work with, they grew up off of Old York, so they've been through some shit, in the streets and all that. When one of their homeboys would come work there, we would be cool and everything, but I would also be like antagonizing them. And then I remember one time one of my boys, his name Lumpy. He was telling me, he's like, man, yeah, Tone, he was ready to fuck you up a couple times in this job, but I let him know, man, that's how the nigga is. He's like, fuck on everybody. Like, he just fuck with everybody. And then Tone had to take a step back and like kind of see how I operate. And he's like, this nigga do fuck with everybody. Like, he just don't give a fuck. And that was something I would just do. I would just like joke with everybody, and I just didn't care, because to me that just made the time, go along during the day and everything. And then I looked at it, which probably was fucked up. If I ain't fuck with you, like pick on you to a certain extent, I didn't like you, and that's what I would do too. Like I didn't really associate with, too much with a person. If I was like, okay, they not joking way back and forth, they may not like me like that. That's cool. I just won't fuck with. I just won't talk to you. I won't joke with you in that way.
Oh yeah, I mean for me, it wasn't about joking on me. It was about that habitual line stepping you used to do when you were younger. It's like, man, this brother don't realize. You better ask some of my family members. You keep habitually stepping on that line, I'm gonna hit you in your throat.
Right, because it's two things you ain't like. You still don't like to this day. You don't like being touched, but so much. Like I probably pat you in the back while you flinching. Getting tense right now. But I told you I'm coming in for a pat.
Right.
But you ain't care being touched on, and your family nickname. I ain't gonna say it. I respect. But I know I said a couple times you like nigga. even when your cousins was I think it was your brother's girlfriend or somebody, when your brother's like, you okay with this? Like, not checking me the system, but they were checking with you, like, you okay? Like, he okay, So, but yeah, that to me it's funny now more so to think about, because you ain't care for that. It was outside family.
Yeah,
calling you the family nickname.
Yeah, because I mean, even to this day, like my little brother, his wife, she started out like the first time we met, we got into she got into a kerfluffle because she was calling me by my nickname, and I was like, nah, that's a family thing. I don't really know you. You call me Stephon. And then she said, well, you can't call me by my nickname. I was like, okay, that's fine. But then after a while, after being around her for a while, because I was tutoring her son, and then she just kind of slipped it in and started calling me that, and I was like, I see what you're doing. Hey, but I've known you for like a year now. It's fine.
So it's a time frame.
Yeah, you're a part of. She's a part of the family. Whatever, it's fine.
And she cool.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. I think one thing that may get on my skin it does get on my skin that you do is, I think one thing it was when you used to like tell me what it was. It was something you would say, things you would say to me I didn't want to hear, and I was like, oh shit, he didn't gut check me. But it was something I needed to hear in order for me to grow as a person.
Right.
So it was like I did not like hearing it, but it was necessary.
Right.
And I think the thing that hurts my nerves to this day is like you're nonchalant about a lot of things.
Most things.
Recently, I called him up. I said, hey, I'm gonna get some chicken from Royal Farm. You gonna eat some? Because I know you only eat once a day. I know you eat the food, but like I don't know if you particularly like Royal Farm chicken. So that was my thinking behind that. He's like, I don't care. I'm like, all right, this motherfucker. Let me get this 10-piece. He better eat every last motherfucking piece that I don't eat. But that's how he is. Like,
I mean,
you're not swayed by it if I get it, if I don't. But at the same time, I think it's rude to come into somebody's house with food and not say like, hey, did you want something beforehand?
I don't care.
That's what I'm talking about.
So it's funny that you said it, because a guy that I used to work with who has a lot of respect for me and highly praises me. He said the one negative that I have, he's like, sometimes you don't give a shit. I say, well, that's most times. That is just the way that my personality has slid over the years. Well, I really don't give a shit about most things.
And that's rubbed off on me, because I think right now in this stage of my life with everything going, I won't say everything's going positive, but I got some good positive news during this journey of me being on dialysis, getting on this transplant list. And right now, I just want to keep the positivity around me. I don't want nothing negative in my life.
Right.
My health is what it is. If that deteriorates, it's like, or starts to slip going down the slope. We all know why, because I'm fucked up, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, so we know that can happen. So I won't be so much down in a sense. If my health started to take another dip in a sense, I just want to stay positive. Like, so I just want the positive energy, and keep my outlook being positive, because there's no point me dwelling on what a negative, because in essentially I can control that. I ain't got to let no negativity in.
Right.
So, but the things I can't have control over, that I don't have control over, like I recently had to pay like $260, $280 in medicine. It sucks that I gotta pay that, because the insurance will pay up to a certain point, but I gotta pay the what's left over. So what's funny is that out of the medications I take, everything is free if it's delivered through Express Scripts. But these two, I gotta pay like $100-something out of pocket.
Nice.
So it is what it is, But I don't let that, weigh me down in a sense. But it's like I need it, so
trying to live.
Right, exactly. So stay out the hospital is the goal. So, but it ain't, like I said, anything, but everything else I can control. I can control if someone is not even saying anything negative about me per se, but if like their energy is off, they not very, bringing any value to my life. It's like, all right, stay over there. I'm good over here. I got my core. I'm good. So,
right.
Nonetheless, Stephon, I do appreciate you, and the 21, we're going on 22 years of friendship. So
21.
Yeah, and I appreciate you doing this for me with the podcast, and entertaining my silly ideas at times.
Yeah.
And putting them back in check.
It's what I do.
So
we've established the dynamic of our relationship at this point.
Right. So, and else you want to talk about, add to our friendship, or talk about?
No, I think we've covered a lot. Shout out to my other two best friends. Hi, Lorenzo. Hi, Anthony.
So yeah, we're gonna get Lorenzo here one day. I'm definitely gonna tag Anthony in this, and then we'll see you gonna get him.
They both said they were down.
Yeah, gotta stop pussyfooting around with that one. Both of them.
Yeah, it's on you.
Yeah, I guess I do got the final say. This is my podcast. This is named after us, well, me, but bam. So, but you have a lot involved in it too.
I mean, it exists because I do all the work.
I'm not doing none of the technical shit.
Not a damn thing.
Tell them real quick about what your coworker said about, I know you touched on a little bit about it being kind of like sad, but what he said to you last time.
Oh, I mean, he was just shooting ideas about how to expand the podcast, and it was sort of drifting to him wanting to see the things that he was interested in. And he's like, does your friend know any technical stuff? I was like, no, not a damn thing.
Look, I'll tell you right now, if someone asks me some technical question about their phone or their computer, I'm like, I got a homeboy, but I ain't about to be telling you about, about Windows and this document, that, and the third. Like, look, I know on my phone, I know about some of the apps and stuff. I don't even know how to work TikTok, but I can work Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
I don't either.
But you want to learn about some word processing, or this thing acting slow? He your man.
He said, does he know anything about AI? And I just kind of laughed. No, fuck, he doesn't. I would look into it. If you give me something to read in the sense like, okay, I'll look into it and everything. We'll have a conversation about it. But like your field, like you went into computer science. My friend when he was going to school, it was for marketing. So not to say those two couldn't cross in the sense, but it was like that just wasn't right. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea. Because a lot of people are interested in it. Yeah,
when you was even breaking down, C++, I was like, oh, that's way over my head. But it's something that I think I could learn. Especially by you, being so good in your field with that. Like right. I would definitely, it would be worth me like tapping into in a sense. Right. Like I can have somebody help me along. So,
which is a thing that I do for quite a few people.
Yeah, because you helped a lot of people pass, graduate.
I did make going through college. I did make quite a bit of money doing people's programs.
So I should go back to school.
And just had me do all your work. You would not be the first.
What you going to rate?
It depends on what I'm doing, but I have so many degrees that I did not go to school for. That's what I like to say. Nursing, chemistry, a couple of computer science and computer engineering degrees. I have so many degrees that I did not go to school for.
Understandable. So, just to round out our episode here, we're going to touch on the Uvalde school shooting that happened. That was when? Like late May? Early May?
Yeah, last month.
It was last month sometime.
So we are going to get sad now.
Yeah.
So, and at this point, it's old news, and a lot of information has come out. We know about it. The 19 kids that were killed, and the 2 teachers, or was it 3 teachers?
I think it was 2.
Yeah, 2 teachers.
There's a total of 21.
Yeah, but I think the aspect that we could talk about now is all of the new information that's coming out that shows how effective the police were in this entire process.
Yeah. So, because about a question I have is that they were primed and ready to go in, but they never went to the classroom.
Oh, yeah,
they waited for the keys, but apparently the door, they never checked to see the door was
Yeah,
even
they never
unlocked.
checked to see if the door was open. And then they said that they were waiting on equipment so they can go in. But then footage from inside the school showed that cops were already in there. They had rifles, body armor, and ballistic shields, and they still didn't go into the classroom. So at every step of the way, the police fucked this entire operation up. And then they waited an hour before somebody went in and took out the shooter. And now the police don't want to be cooperative with an investigation because of the fact that it shows how ineffective they were.
Right. So were they ineffective out of? I guess I would look at it. I would want to know, was this out of fear, straight fear, or just the lack of training?
It could be both. I mean, it's definitely both in a sense because of the fact that they said that this person he has an AR AR style rifle, and they didn't want to put their officers in danger. So they just allowed for this kid to just go on a killing spree when they could have stopped him within the first 15 minutes of him going into the school.
That makes absolutely no sense. Like, then why are you even an officer then if it's a possibility you may have to go through this?
Hey, preservation of your own life is a very, very strong reaction in humans.
Sure.
Even though, the occupation, you would put yourself in danger in certain situations. You would think that when there's a shit ton of children involved, that you would be more willing. But we see that wasn't the case. As it came out that the police officers were stopping parents from going in to save their own kids.
Yeah.
Arresting them. I mean, and a couple of officers went in and got their kids out.
That when I first heard that, I was like, hey, that ain't the most selfish shit. But at the same time, it's a positive story because we are human. I can't be so mad because it's like, what do you do in this situation? I mean, but at the same time, it's like,
it's your job. This is the job that you signed up for.
Right. And it's like, it's upsetting, but at the same time, it's like, y'all the responsibility that you are getting paid for. There's your job to, I won't say protect and serve, but to act accordingly. I don't think that was acting accordingly.
Oh, yeah, not at all. They failed at every step of the way. It's like at any point in time, you chose this position. If you are too afraid to do the job, give up your badge and gun. Give it to somebody who's willing to do it.
I think it's pretty cut and dry that way.
Yeah.
Because why be an officer? Like, I can only speak for me. I couldn't see myself being an officer of the law because I would hate to have to put somebody down. I don't know if my mind is capable of handling that trauma. Like, I understand, like, one thing to defend yourself in the gunfight in a sense, but like, I don't know how I would handle that trauma of actually killing somebody.
Right.
So that's not the job for me. So, but if the children, a person's life is involved, in danger, and you are like, I'm gonna just go ahead and protect myself, then you shouldn't be doing this at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
that honestly, they should get rid of the entire police department. Start over from scratch. Think of a new method.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, because that sound that you're not putting you is displaying that behavior, and it's no one's safety is in your interest.
Yeah, not at all. Because again, they said, as more information came out and as more video and things came out, they said, they could have stopped that shooter within the first 3 to 15 minutes.
And it chose not to, because like when you said what I learned about that, they even checked the doors and they kind of just outside the doors. It's like you don't hear these
even attempt to open
screams,
it.
these screams, these gunshots.
Oh, they heard them all.
Yeah, the pleas for help did not make you want to act faster.
And they actually called, and what they say is they're almost certain that all of the people were killed by the shooter. Meaning because they shot in there, they don't know if they didn't also kill some people as well. Because we talked about that with the methadone shooting clinic.
Right, yeah.
Clinic. Police shooting into the building, they killed a person. And then the fact is, and also another thing that the cops did was they screamed into the school, if you need help, scream help. So somebody screamed help and caused them to get shot because they just gave away their location to the shooter. Yeah, so at every turn of this entire situation, the police fucked up, and this tragedy that could have been averted by the good guys with guns proves that saying is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, because it was no, except for the off-duty patrol. No, well, he was
Border Patrol
who came in and took him out.
Yeah.
So kudos to him for that.
Who was at the barber shop and then got a gun from the barber. So got the barber's gun and ran across. Was like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, and then the barber strap too.
I mean, it's Texas.
Everybody
got a gun.
This is true. This is Texas.
Yeah, Texas has some of the laxest fucking gun laws in the country.
I'm just trying to think, what the hell does a barber need a gun for? But
it's Texas. Like, what the hell did the 18-year-old who shot at the school need a gun for?
This is true.
But they changed the law so that 18-year-olds could get guns with pretty much no background check.
Fuck you, Texas.
Yeah. Fuck you, Republicans. See, this is what happens with your bullshit policies on gun laws. Thank you very much.
Yep, and we won't get into the new Roe versus Wade. We already touched on that, so that did overturn officially yesterday.
See, the document leaked, but now it's officially been overturned.
So yeah,
hooray for the conservative, Christian, white nationalist minorities and Clarence Thomas,
bitch ass,
bitch ass. So America is slowly regressing to an authoritarian white nationalist state, and we're all here for it. Hooray!
No one wants to see that white supremacy is a thing within this.
They all see it. They all see it, but
yeah, that's another topic for another day. And how you dealing with these high ass gas prices?
Well, I work from home, so I don't drive much.
Yeah, I mean, I fill up my tank at a half. I ain't letting it go too.
Yeah, same here. I mean, you end up saving more money when you fill up at a half.
Yeah, I spent $40 yesterday at a half.
And gas prices are actually starting to go down.
Yeah, because I think about it, they're trying to pass a 3-month gas tax.
Gas tax holiday.
Yeah,
which isn't going to change much because it's only 18 cents. I mean, what really needs to happen is that Congress needs to check these corporations that are gouging prices.
Yeah, absolutely. Because why you have record numbers since
record profits, in like the highest profits in like 10 years for some of these companies.
Well, what the fuck you need more money for?
Because it's good for the shareholders. Yeah, after you make certain amount of billions of dollars, I don't understand. Capitalism is weird, and I won't get into too much, where it has this idea of infinite growth, but nothing in the universe works that way. But so there was a bill passed in the House, almost every Republican voted nay on, that will put a cap on price gouging from gas companies.
Because they're lobbying to get money from it.
Of course. So yeah, good times.
So would it be beneficial if they like say like gas was like at $2.99? Because is that possibility? They just like, oh, look, we're gonna keep it at this.
I mean, gas in America is already subsidized by the U.S. government. So the fact that the prices inflation is a thing, and what Putin is doing in Ukraine is affecting it as well.
Right.
But the fact that gas prices are so high is because that not only are the gas companies passing on the inflation onto the consumers, but they're raising it even up, and they can blame inflation so that they can get a higher profit.
And they can say, well, look, we're not just doing it just because we want to.
We can't nobody can do anything about it because the government has absolutely no say in what corporations do in America. So, hooray, good times.
Yeah, everything's expensive right now. I'm mad.
Pandemic has done its job, what it was going to do, because pandemics do that. So, I mean, since everything slowed down because of the pandemic, now that things are ramping up, there's not enough supply to meet the demand.
Oh,
so
yeah,
prices go up.
And then also they talk about like they got so much inventory with a lot of different things that they got to cut prices, but then they got to do layoffs. So not enough people to work in the stores, and then the cycle is that you don't have enough people working in the stores. Therefore, you don't have people buying stuff because they're not working.
Yeah.
So then there's a choice: do I want this flat screen TV, this dining room table, or do I need to figure out a way to put food on my table?
So
Though a non-table that don't exist.
Yeah, the pandemic worked its magic. So this was already speculated to happen.
Yeah, because every time I gone out to grab something to eat, like I spend $15 every day in Chipotle, and I ain't getting no fucking drink. And I'm like, this is some bullshit. I'm about to go get, but maybe, I mean, it's probably cheaper to make your own damn burrito bowl. But it was like,
It is.
I'm like, the fuck did I order? I didn't even get guacamole. And I'm like, $15 for what? Because that bitch ass charge for double chicken.
Hey, I mean, well, you shouldn't have wanted that extra chicken on your damn burrito.
They need to start putting a scoop and do a scoop and a half.
Yeah, let's not get into that bullshit.
So, I think we summed up episode 55 pretty well, talking about me getting on the being approved for the transplant list. The next update that I have is actually being on the list.
So, look at this episode was so long. He doing a recap.
So, talking about our friendship and thoughts on a couple things out there in the world. So, stuff gonna take us out.
That's the show. As always, you can check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
So make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube page. We got some more stuff coming.
And all the other channels as well.
Yes. Peace out.
Peace.